love in the chat to Pamela because you have successfully stayed no contact. And am I saying they are genuine people? I'm saying that, okay, what's the psychology of niceness being drawn to me? I hate it. I used to be afraid I was a narc. I'm going to give you a little test, girl. Okay? If you believe that you might be a narcissist, there's a very good chance you're not a narcissist. Because this is what a narcissist does. They believe that everything revolves around their little mind. They cannot see past their own perspective. They have a limited perspective of a robot. They only see things through one lens, and it's out in the world. They look at things like it's all of their own world. So, does a narcissist sit down at night and wonder if they're a narcissist? No. They actually can't even tell that they're doing anything wrong. They're sitting in the middle of a storm that they've caused, and everyone around is affected. Everyone around is being harmed, and they have no idea what's going on because they don't care about anyone else. They only care about themselves. So will a narcissist sit up at night and wonder what they're doing wrong to people, or self-reflect, or have any accountability for the shit they've caused in your life? No. They are one-sided tape, exactly. They're just like, boop. They see their own perspective, and that's it. So if you're asking yourself, am I a narcissist? There's a very good chance you're not, because you're not you're reflecting on your past. If you've hurt someone, if you've done something wrong, if you're the problem, a narcissist will never actually be like, am I the problem? They're going to be telling you that you're the problem. You're going on 5 years this Friday, almost divorced, no contact. Congratulations. He was reaching out, I ignored. Next thing I know, he has a new girlfriend in his profile. But yeah, they move on to the next person so darn fast. The worst is when they dominate conversations, no interest when you speak. It's because it's like you don't even exist. So I've heard this spoken to me before. I've heard this analogy where a narcissist will look at you as if you're some sort of tool in their kitchen. Like you're like the coffee maker, basically. And okay, here's the coffee maker. It makes me my coffee. And I love this coffee maker so much because it makes me my coffee. That's all they look at you, like an appliance in their kitchen. But the second that you need to be upgraded to a new coffee machine, you're out. You're out the next day. I blocked mine on everything. I don't want to see or hear anything. Good for you. I can't make the jump hands-free. I can make it jump hands-free. I don't get that. So yeah, so this is the shift, that the same intensity that you get from the beginning of the relationship, this sort of like magic feeling that you get from somebody who's love bombing you, who's telling you that you're perfect, putting you up on a pedestal and giving you all of this attention and what seems to be love and affection and all this in the beginning. This is the stuff that is going to later trap you, because you're going to expect this type of treatment from somebody that when you don't get it anymore, you're going to start questioning if you've done something wrong. This is what they do. Yes, also humiliation rituals in front of everyone, are always talking poorly behind your back. Yeah. Yeah, they do like a premeditated smear campaign. So at the beginning of the relationship, they might, even when they're doing this love bombing stuff, is they might actually start talking to your friends and start saying things and talking poorly behind your back. Like, I'm concerned. I'm concerned about Rose drinking. I think that maybe she has a drinking problem and we should watch out for her. Or, I've heard that she has some issues with anger. Like she's talking about going seeing a therapist. Like they'll talk to your friends, your family, your parents. They'll talk to people at your work and start saying things behind your back, talking what looks like it's care, but it's actually talking poorly about you to try to make you seem like that you're crazy, so that when they actually start a actual smear campaign, because it was premeditated, they'll actually start convincing your family that you might be crazy, so that if you stand up for yourself or you try to say something, they've been planning it. They've been in the works for a while. They build you up to knock you down, and you're chasing the love bombing stage. Exactly. That's the stuff that gets trapped, that gets you trapped later. I've noticed they love to control your appearance too. They do. They like to have like sort of contact, this sort of control around the image that describes my sister. Yeah. They're image management people. So they want to manage their image and they want to look good. They avoid looking bad. So they try to look good. And some of the times you'll see, like, if they're jealous of you, especially, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. They make you vulnerable and can open up for them to weaponize everything you say later. Yeah, they'll do like sort of a trauma bonding. I know there's a type of trauma bond where we're in a relationship with somebody and then we're bonded to them through chemicals that form. And so then we're bonded in them in trauma. And so that cycle becomes more of an addiction to that person. But there's something else that happens when we meet somebody and they connect with us on a deep emotional level. So you get like a little bit of the chemistry, you get a little bit of this and that, and then all of a sudden you start to get some common ground. You start to share, you know, where you grew up, or maybe you share that you have the similar siblings, or there's some sort of connection there. And then they start to share with you. They become vulnerable and they start to share with you some of their deep, dark stuff. They might actually share some truths about their life. Who knows? Maybe they were bullied as a kid. Maybe they had like a bad relationship with their father. They start to share this trauma that seems and sounds like an authentic, vulnerable share. And then what happens is you trust them and you start to share stuff about you. So maybe you had some issues with alcohol. Maybe you start to talk about a little bit about your childhood and how it hurt you. Maybe you talk about how your parents, my ex would talk to me a little about his own depression. And then thank you so much. Then I would share with him how my mom had suffered from depression growing up. And that when she was pregnant with my sister, she thought my sister was a boy. This whole time, the whole time she was pregnant with my little sister, she thought it was a boy. So after that happened, a spiral of things started happening in her life, and she suffered a severe, deep, dark depression. And I shared that I was scared for my mom at that time with my ex-husband. And later on, whenever I would have an issue or any kind of emotional share, he'd be like, "Oh, you're just depressed just like your mom." He would absolutely use that against me, and that is what they do. That is what they do. Sorry, I don't have any mods in the chat, and I just need to annoying people are just going to get blocked. So just so you know, if you just annoy me in the chat, I'm just going to block you. Deleted my old socials because narcissistic ex would keep tabs on people. Yeah, that's what they do. That's what they control every little part about you. A lot of the times it's because they're you are gorgeous, thank you. A lot of times it's because they are either jealous of you, they want to try to put you down a notch because they're so like they're really insecure with themselves. My sister's done some nasty things. It took too many years to see it. Yeah. Narcissists can be your family members. They can be people in your life that you love. Relationships, they can be your boss. You can get narcissistic abuse in your workplace. You can have narcissistic friends that you didn't realize. Pay attention to your friends who low-key hate you. Because you may have friends in your circle who will come up to you and tell you things like, "I'm jealous of you," just so you know. They may say things like that. Is it a fast profile pic of him showing her off or just him self-regulating? Is the fast profile pic about him showing her off or just, I don't understand. Can you say that one again? We are working through our sins and crimes before the fall. But if you sin and commit, we are, what is, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm reading comments and I don't understand some of them. Of me. Of me? We are in a loop. Are we in a loop? Is my audio and everything okay? In a long distance relationship, I found out that she has a boyfriend. Now I'm the problem. Say that again. You were in a long distance relationship with somebody, right? And then you find out she has a boyfriend and now you're the problem and my audio is good. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Yeah, drop your questions in the chat. I will do my best to try to answer them. But yeah, so somebody who's living two different lives, that's like complete deception. That's them having this sort of object permanence where you don't exist outside of her peripheral. So 1 minute, because she gets something from you, right? Okay, Skeeter, she gets something from you when she's with you. And this is the perfect scheme for a long distance relationshipper because it's a long distance situationship, is what it is. It's a long distance manipulationship. I'm going to book a session with you because, okay, Skeeter, just so you know, if you book a session with me right now, I have 15% off. So right now, there's a deal. Right now, the code is welcome15. If you want to book one with me, let's get it going because I got you. What you are dealing with was a person who is in a long distance manipulationship with you. So she could get what she wants when she's talking to you, when she's with you, when she's hanging out with you, whatever. But then wherever she is, you're not in the picture, you're not in the room, you're somewhere else. And she gets to have her whole other life. She gets to have a boyfriend. She gets to go do this. And you have no idea because you're not there. And this is probably why this is probably why she's a perfect target for you because she can live that double life. In my workplace, I heard workplace coworkers talking about me when I wasn't supposed to. And they gaslit you. Of course they did because you probably heard something that they didn't want you to hear. I would stay in the bathroom texting when he came to visit. Yeah. Do they change for the new supply? He was abusive and towards the end totally different. No. They do not change for the new supply. The new supply becomes the new love bombing target. That's all it is. So remember I was saying at the beginning how love bombing, it shows up and it feels really good? Because when you're with somebody who is trying to show a perfect side of them and to play this character so that they could get you to this place where you feel trapped and you feel like you've done something wrong when they switch up, that person is faking it till they make it. Like if they can fake it with you, of course they can fake it with the new supply. So it seems as if you've basically said or done, like it feels like they've changed. It feels like everything you've asked them to do, they're now doing it for the new person. But they're not. They're just faking it with the new person because it's easier for them. 2 months begging, 3 months broke up, and he still comes back. 7 years together, 5 months married. Is this your life? Is this what's going on with you? My ex called today and telling me he was so happy with his new wife and he wishes me the same. How do you feel about that? How are you feeling about that? Texting all his friends. Oh my gosh, yeah. So one thing I would say with my ex-husband is, and I'm gonna answer this question here. What if they fit their personality a lot better? Do they change for them? No. Nope. If you're really fully dealing with a narcissistic person, this person's not going to change for anybody. How do you break a trauma bond? Well, we can work on recovering that trauma bond by, first of all, understanding what that trauma bond is, how you came about it, how you are connected and bonded to this person. What is that thing that makes you connected? There's a need there. There's a need that this person fills for you. And so this is what we do in my sessions. We talk about what that need is and we uncover it and discover it for you so that you actually get to learn how to fill that need for yourself. Once you get this skill, once you acquire this tool of how do I fill this need for myself, you no longer have any value of being trauma bonded to a person who can't fill any other needs of yours other than that one little addiction, one little dopamine hit. Maybe it's validation. Maybe it's feeling like you belong somewhere. Maybe it's feeling like you have some sort of purpose or that you need to save somebody. Once we can figure that out, then yes, you get to be addicted to peace after that. I love this. Going through this right now, hardest part is breaking the trauma bond, and I can help you with that. Absolutely. Yeah, we don't beg. We don't want to talk for, he don't want to talk for 2 months. And is there a chance that we can get back together? You want to get back together with a person like this? On our first date, he was meeting the real me or my representative. I don't know. Why would my ex keep blocking and unblocking when I don't even acknowledge? I have to laugh at that one. Okay, I'm booked. I can't wait. Can you let me know if you can fit me tomorrow at all? Oh, tomorrow. Wait, did you book a session with me? Let me look. We have Friday and promo code welcome 15. I am fully booked tomorrow, but you're gonna book with me? Yes, I'm fully booked tomorrow, but I have you for Friday, and I will see you on Friday. If I get a cancellation, you will be the first to know. I don't take insurance, no, but I do have a 15% off right now. If you go to the link in my bio, or you go in and book a session for me, or go into the link and put the promo code welcome15, you'll get 15% off my 60-minute session. Your work is inspiring. You're so welcome. I appreciate you guys for saying that. I don't take insurance, no, because I'm not, like, coaches are not regulated. We're not therapists, so I'm not a clinician. But if you have like a health spending account, you can sometimes use that towards coaching. My ex keeps emailing me with different emails. I keep blocking him 9 months. Okay, I want to answer this question. Earlier, somebody said about blocking and unblocking, and what is the point? The point is that he's trying to get your attention. And if this is the same person, if this is a similar situation. So here, let me just lay it out. A narcissist will do this 100%. Will try to get your attention in all sorts of ways. I have a client that I'm working with that this time last year, these are the crazy things that this man was trying to do to get into her life. Was changing the names in the Netflix profiles. Like, call me. Why won't you just call me? Sending $1 or $2 on different payment systems. Like, I'm in Canada, so I don't have some of the payment systems that you have, but like Zelle, or like, I know PayPal's not something you normally use. What's another one that you use? Venmo. Yeah, yes, my ex did this with Venmo. They send you $1, $2 just to get your attention. Or they unblock you and block you again, and unblock you and block you again, because they think, or they're hopeful, that maybe you're creeping on their social medias. But the amazing thing is that you don't care. Cash App, yes, thank you. Is that you're not acknowledging it. And the less you acknowledge it, the less they're going to do this. Because you cannot go and eat meat off of a dead carcass anymore when there's no meat left to eat off of. He can't go and you don't care. So you just got to keep pushing along and going, no, no, thank you. One day he wants me and he wants kids. The next day he doesn't. He hates my soul. Of course, because they are so erratic. They're dysfunctional. And you know, they're sorry, I got some weird comments in the chat, so we're gonna go ahead and just get rid of people. Every message he sends, he's begging for me one day to talk to him. It annoys me, to be honest. Yeah, so what do you do with those messages? Once you find out that this person's messaging you and you know that that's the number, what do you do? Do you block them? Do you have a coach that's in your ear telling you to block them? This is what I tell my clients: block them. Block, especially if it's annoying. Protect the space that's around you. So just having this like protective space where you're just telling yourself, I am not going to put up with people who text me all the time, message me all the time. You block every message she sends. Good for you. Every message you get from this person, you block. But then here's another thing. If they keep calling you and texting you from different numbers, let me ask you, what is holding you to that number? If it's really annoying and you really want to get rid of them, have you ever considered changing your number? Because that's something you can do as well. Now, I'm not one to talk. Like, I have had my number since 1996. 19 like 1996. I've had my number for a very long time. Do I want to change it? No. Maybe you do, and maybe you don't. I don't know. But it's an option to change your number. Mine is pissed because he thought he could move here and I wasn't having it. Well, good for you. Yeah, you're not having it. You've got boundaries. You got to stay firm with those boundaries. I love this. He decided to take a trip. He planned it at least a month. I found out 2 days before. He took a trip away from you. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, this is the kind of, yes, out of town to visit his sister. Was it sister or is it deception? Are we talking about deception here? Or are we talking about, what are we talking about? He emotionally abused me, neglected me for 3 years out of the relationship we had for 3 years and 7 months. Yeah. Isn't it crazy how, because I was with my ex for 14 years. And when I think about it, like, sorry, my nose. People would ask me, like, why didn't you just leave? Why didn't you just, like, leave the relationship? And I wish I could give them an answer. I can't give them an answer. I wish I knew. You're gonna, yes, you can go to the link in my bio and get the 15% off. And if you do want to book, the 15% off code is welcome15. So I want to talk about why we don't leave. Okay. Number one, we get love bombed in the beginning of those relationships, right? And everything that this narcissist does, even if it's just the first 7 months or 7 days or whatever, everything that they do in the beginning to fake this relationship with you or pretend that they're exactly who this person is, like who they are, it makes you believe something about yourself. You believe that this has some sort of effect on the relationship. How you act has an effect on the relationship. Like, you're so amazing. You're so well put together. I can't wait to have a future with you. I see myself marrying you. I see myself having kids with you. I want to have a family with you. And they start future faking this life. You start to think that everything you're doing is leading you to this amazing relationship. And they play you by telling you that you're going to have this amazing relationship with them. And then when they switch up, you end up believing that you did something wrong because they've made you believe that you had some sort of effect on the relationship. Now, when they switch up and all of a sudden you're not this perfect person anymore, you're not idolized and put on a pedestal, that you're a problem, and they start devaluing you, start ignoring you, start putting you on red all the time, ditching you, maybe insulting you, talking down to you, like whatever they're doing, you start to believe that you did something wrong, that you might be the problem. You can't even see lies. When he lies about his age, when he lied about this and that, when they start stealing from you or cheating on you or all of these things. Thank you so much for joining my club. If you start to see this stuff happening, you're going to believe that you did something. You're going to subtly start to doubt the things that you said, did. What can I do to go back to that again? Because we get really high off of that love bombing relationship. We get really high when this person treats us right because we think that that's the standard. And then when something switches up and something changes and all of a sudden they change their tune, you feel like you've done something wrong. And so why did I stay with a person like this for 14 years? Because it legit took me 14 years to realize that I had nothing to do with that person, that my actions didn't change who he was. Yes, I hate this cycle, but it is absolutely a cycle. We keep going in a cycle because the cycles don't ever stop until you put a stop to it. You lose yourself every time you go through this. We start to fix a problem that isn't ours to fix. And you finally wake up. We're like under a spell. That's kind of what it feels like. I used to say this, like in that relationship, I would be like, I don't know myself anymore. I'm basically a shell of a human being. How did I get here? Who am I? I didn't know my favorite colors. I didn't know what kind of food I liked. I didn't even like to sing anymore. Yes, I'm doing it again right now. Are you in a cycle right now? Do you need help getting out? This is what I do with people. I help them get out of bad relationships. I help them understand what they went through. I have no mirrors in my house. I did that too. Like I couldn't look at myself. So here's a really weird thing that happens. We start to actually mirror the narcissist when we're in a relationship with them. They act a certain way to mirror us. Like, have you ever been with somebody where in the very beginning, they start to act like you? It's almost like they want to be you. They'll be like, oh, I love sushi too. Or, oh, that's my favorite song. Or this is like, I went through that too. Or I did this, I did that. And you start to be like, wow, you're exactly like me. That's amazing. Like, we get along so great. We're like two peas in a pod. Because they're mirroring you. That's why you think they're so amazing. Because you're amazing. Like, you're an amazing person. And they see that and they want that because they're not amazing. They're awful people. And then the switch happens. And here's how the great exchange actually takes place. You start becoming them and they start becoming you because they don't actually have a personality. They lack a personality. So they attach onto your personality and you start to live down in the basement where they live. You start to go to the deep depths of the emptiness where they actually live and show up as. They show up in your life in a deficit. They show up with these holes and they expect you to fill those holes. They don't know how to make themselves happy. They don't know how to satisfy themselves. They don't know how to just be content with life. They don't know how to find joy and fulfillment. So they suck it and siphon it out of you. And then what happens is they're emotional vampires. You end up feeling lifeless at the end. You end up feeling empty. I used to say that I was a shell of a human. And that was like just a normal thing that I would say. Thank you. That was just a normal thing that I would say and feel that I just didn't even know myself. 3 kids later, I'm like, who am I? I'm a shell of a human being. I don't even know who I am anymore. And that's exactly what it feels like because you're not looking at yourself anymore in the mirror. Thanks for the heart, me. You're looking at them. You've now switched. That's why I call it the great exchange, because you've switched places with them. They show up a dark, empty, boring, dry, emotionless, no personality, lacking a bunch of different things, zero empathy, no care in the world, no consideration for any other person. And you end up looking at them like that's you because they mirror you back to you. So you see yourself in another person and you go, oh, I kind of love that. And then what happens when they switch up and they start devaluing you and treating you like shit, you turn around and you look at yourself in the mirror and you go, I am now them. How did that happen? And they walk away like it feels like they walk away scot-free, but they'll never get that. They'll never, they can fake it for a long time. But yeah, the darkness in me, girl, I'm a licensed social worker with a ton of empathy. Yeah. My ex used to try to tell me that I was zero, that I had zero compassion and that I don't know how to be affectionate. Because I never wanted to cry around him because every time I cried, he would make fun of me. He would get mad at me. He would actually get so mad at me for having an emotion because emotions were a manipulation. This is the reason why a narcissist hates when you cry, by the way, if you don't know this already. Who here in the chat has had a narcissist laugh at you, get mad at you, yell at you, or have a really bad visceral reaction when you had a tear, when you felt emotional, when you maybe cried in front of them? Yes, one time I cried and he was manipulating him, crying. Yes, yes, yes. Yes. Me. Okay, me's in the chat. Okay? Now, did you ever wonder, like, why? Like, I'm crying. This is me having an emotion. And what did we do? What do we do when that happens? They stare at you as if you are an alien. Exactly, right? They look at you like there's something wrong with you. Like, okay, one of the times I cried in front of my ex-husband was after our first baby. And I was really upset because not only did I have a really long, strenuous, and very painful labor that lasted me 30 hours in the hospital, and I almost bled out to a point where I needed to get a blood transfusion. And then I had to keep my baby there. This was 11 years ago, but I had to keep my baby at the hospital and go home without a baby because he had to get all this testing and he had to go on a 5-day antibiotic. So I'm at home with no baby. And my husband at the time, my ex-husband, he's just drinking scotch, getting drunk and acting like a fool while I'm like wishing we were with our baby. And he looked at me like, drinking his scotch, just, are you okay? Like, he looked at me like I was a crazy person. I didn't want to ever cry in front of him again. There is a reason why they hate when you cry. Now, when we had this happen to us, where this narcissist would stare at us with dead black eyes, and thank you so much, I appreciate you guys, with dead black eyes and act as if you are a problem for having an emotion, what do we tell ourselves? We say, okay, I will never, that's what I said, I will never cry again. I don't want to cry in front of this guy again. He hurt me. That made me feel I was vulnerable and I didn't feel safe in that moment. So I'm not going to cry in front of them again. And then we learn to suppress our emotions, and then we don't want to do that again because we tell ourselves a little story that it's actually dangerous to be vulnerable with a narcissistic person. So we stop crying. And then what did he do? He actually told me that I was emotionless and that I have no compassion and that I don't know how to show affection because I never shed a tear. Well, when I did shed a tear, I looked like an alien. So this is why they do it. I want to get back to why they actually do it. Now, my ex actually loved when he made me cry. So there's the difference. When he makes you cry, he loves it. It's almost a sadistic pleasure that they get in it because they know they've done something to change your reaction or affect you in certain ways. If my ex hurt me so badly that I was crying, he would look like he had an orgasm. Literally, he would look like he was turned on by it. His eyes would go activated and he'd have that really mischievous look in his face like he did something to hurt me because they want to hurt you. It's really, really cruel. When they make you cry, yeah, they're happy about it. But if you're crying a natural, normal emotion where you are sharing an emotion about maybe somebody in your family died, or maybe you're going through something, or your son is at the hospital and you can't come home, this is why they hate it. Okay, I'll tell you why. Because when a narcissist is crying, have you ever had a narcissist threaten to themselves? If you leave me, I swear I'm going to take my life. Have you ever had one of those guys or one of those gals that will threaten to take their life because you're going to leave them, God forbid, or they cheat on you and you catch them and they're like, no, don't, and they start crying. Like, I mean, I had my ex do this to me one time where he lost all this money and he did all these transgressions, okay? And when I caught him, he's just pounding on the floor. He's crying. He's having this snot-nosed display where he sounds like he's like moaning like a cow. Like he sounded like a cow in labor. And he was crying, snot-nosed crying. And I held him and I said, it's going to be okay. And he ended up buying 2 more years with me because he manipulated me through his tears. He used the crying and this episode of depression and breakdown, like he used this sort of panic attack to manipulate me to do something or to feel a certain way because he weaponized my care and attention to get something from me. Yours did this 26 years ago. So who's had that? If he would threaten to do something, if they would cry and then you would do something, it's because they used their tears to manipulate you. Okay? Now follow me here. Stay with me. When the narcissist does anything in their life, anything, if they think anything, if they do anything, if their MO is whatever, that's what they believe everyone in the world thinks and does. So, quick story, when my ex would hide shit in the house because he thought it was funny and because he wanted to mess with me and my OCD and gaslight me into believing I'm crazy, he would hide things in the house. He didn't like a shirt that I was wearing, he'd hide it. He didn't like these pillows, he'd go throw it in the garbage. And then he'd pretend as if someone stole it because he just didn't like it or he wanted to make me feel crazy. So he did these little narc games, I call them. He would do this all the time. So if something went missing, he would legit think somebody hid it on him because that is the way he thinks. He thinks everybody thinks this way. That's what narcissists do. The way they operate, they believe you're operating that way. So I'll tell you, if the narcissist is cheating on you, they're going to accuse you of cheating on them. Okay, so this is what's going on. When you find yourself crying in front of a narcissist, they're going to look at you and they're going to think you're manipulating them. Because when they shed a tear, when they start to cry, it's because they want to manipulate you into getting what they want from you. So that's why they're so mad, because they think your tears are manipulation, because they believe whatever you do is because they're doing it. That's why. That is why. So if you ever want to understand why they do what they do, if you ever want to just have an idea of what it is narcissists do and why they do it, just look at them. It makes so much sense. If they're accusing you of shit, I can guarantee you, sweethearts, it's an accusation, is a confession. They're actually confessing to something that they've done. Hello, sweetheart. How's Harvey? How's it going? How's it going, love? I haven't seen you in forever. Thank you so much. Can you talk about how it feels about you talking to other guys in a friend way? Can you talk out how he feels about you talking to other guys in a friend way? What do you mean, sweetheart? My ex fell asleep on me once, hearing me crying my eyes out. My pain was his white noise machine. Yeah, that's so awful. That I'm sorry that happened. That they just like take pleasure in hurting you and that your pain. Like I would cry myself to sleep sometimes, but quietly. Hey girl, how's it going? Tori, guys, go follow my friend Tori. She has amazing content on this subject as well, especially anybody who's coming in here talking about co-parenting, maybe divorcing someone who's narcissistic, anything toxic that you're doing, anything high conflict, she's got you. Oh, you're too much. Or you're too much or doing too much. So this is somebody in your life who is I'm just trying to follow your question here. I watched Tori too. Amazing. I love this. Yeah, so your boyfriend is telling you that you're doing too much and that you're saying too much. Your boyfriend of 2 years doesn't like you talking to guy friends. Is that what you're asking? Same with my ex, and it crushed me. Yeah. Yeah, so this is the reason why they do that. They live in this tiny little bubble in their mind. It's this tiny little bubble. And they really believe that their world exists only for them. They don't even look at you like a person. This is what's really messed up about them, is that you are not a person. You're just an object in their story. And if you are Destiny, if you're dealing with a narcissistic person, if your boyfriend you believe is narcissistic and he's controlling, he sounds like he's possessive, number one. If he says you're doing too much, what do you mean doing too much? Then go find less. Go find less. This is what I want to help my clients do, is just build the confidence to not put up with men who tell you that you're doing too much. You think I'm too much? Go find less. I don't need to defend. Yeah, exactly. I don't need to defend myself and try to like dilute myself for you because you can't handle me talking to a guy friend. If he is insecure, he's gonna have a hard time with you having guy friends. If he's insecure and if he's secure with himself and is confident in himself, he's not gonna have any issues with that. I kept telling him, you love what I do for you and not who I am. And he would rage at me. He would rage at you because it's the truth. Mine wouldn't even let you go to the gym. And does he go to the gym? Did he go to the gym? You know, because he's so insecure that you would go talk to guys at the gym the same way. Yeah, no, exactly. So it's like, you go to the gym. Like, why are you telling me I can't go to the gym? Like, you're so insecure that you're going to be so scared that someone's going to come to me and talk to me. Well, maybe someone needs to come and talk to me. That's how you know that somebody is very insecure, is when they don't want you to, they're so afraid that you're going to find something better. You even went to pole fitness gym. Oh, I love that. I'm guessing that's the one where you do the pole dancing, but like in a fitness way. Because that takes a lot of core strength. I've never tried it myself. My sister, she does exotic dancing, like on a pole, but she also does like, it's not pole fitness, but choreography on that. You used to teach it years ago. Amazing. To like hold yourself up. She actually tried to teach me how to hold myself up on a pole like that. And I couldn't, no, I couldn't do it. I can't even pull up my own body weight. I need an assisted pull up. Yeah, it's hard. I tried it and I kept sliding down. And like, yeah, it's not easy, guys. It's not easy. And that's all women in that class too. So what would he be so jealous of? Other women? My husband always accuses me to the point where he hidden a cam in my dressing room. Girl, we need to talk. You're booking a session with me, right? That is beyond controlling and possessive and like low-key like stalker. Even though it is your husband, that's coercive control, and that is such a violation to your privacy, to your autonomy, just to you as a person. Like, to trust, there's no trust there. And a lot of the times when these people don't trust you, it's because they can't be trusted. You know, a lot of it goes back to them. When I said earlier that all of their sort of accusations that they have towards you are confessions of who they really are. If they accuse you of cheating, most likely they're cheating. If they say that they can't trust you and they're doing the most, putting cameras up in dressing rooms, it's because they can't be trusted. You should be putting a camera up in his dressing room and seeing what he's got going on. Put a spy cam on his phone and see who he's texting. Because this is usually what's happening. They're controlling you in a way to stop you from seeing the truth about what they are trying to control about themselves and conceal about who they really are. Wait, cameras? Yes. David, I have a moderator in here finally. Thank you, David. Mine got upset because he can't control me anymore. Turned your cell service. See what they do? See how they rage? See how, look at this comment here. See how they rage when you tell them that you can't control me? That my body belongs to me, my life belongs to me, my dressing room belongs to me, the time that I take to change in a change room belongs to me, and I don't need your camera in here. See what happens? Oh, I'm such a big, I'm so upset. I'm gonna turn your cell service off. That's what they do. How do I put a spy phone on his phone? I needed that. I don't know. You gotta look that up. I think there's a way to do it. I have cameras inside and out. I only have access to it. Well, that's good. I wasn't allowed to have a door to the bathroom. Are you kidding me? Oh my goodness. That is crazy. So there's a lot of different types of narcissists, because the one that I married never did stuff like this. Like, you know, he would look at my bank statement and see if I spent money on myself. I wasn't allowed to do that. But who doesn't give a person their own space? Exactly. Toxic, unhealthy, dysfunctional, you know, insecure people. That's who doesn't give people their own space. But the types of people who are coercively controlling, those types of people, they're also like, it's not that they're jealous of you, yes, but they're worried about themselves too. You know, you remember how I said earlier how almost all of these narcissists will treat you in such a way that if they knew that they were out in the world doing what they do, they believe everyone is out in the world doing what they do. That's why they hate when you cry, right? Because they believe that them crying is a manipulation because they can get what they want from you by telling you that they're going to off themselves and crying and pounding the floor and snot nosing and saying all this stuff because they got caught cheating. All that stuff that they do to cry and make this huge emotional display in front of you is to control you and manipulate you. So when you cry, they think you're trying to control them and manipulate them. So if you go out looking cute, they think you're cheating on them. That's what they do. They believe every single person in the world is them. They can't see past themselves. They can't just like separate themselves from the rest of the world because they believe they only exist. They're so self-absorbed that they're literally robots walking around the world thinking that everyone is them. And they think they're so unique, but they're just carbon copies of each other. You can go down the street and like talk to 5 people and find a narcissist or 2 in that grouping. Really. But they'll tell you at the end of the relationship, "You're never gonna find anyone like me. No one is ever gonna love you the way I love you. You know, you're never gonna find any." You know, really? Because I can find someone like you in 5 seconds if I really looked. You're everywhere. All of you are everywhere. You're so obvious. They're so obvious. You look at the chat, just go back in the chat and read these comments. They're all the same people. They're all the same. And it's funny, they don't think they are. They think that they're different. They think they're so different. And one of the narcissistic traits is this feeling of wanting to be special and unique. They want to be so special. And they're really just special, you know? When it's over, it's anything they can do to get reactions because it's a form of control. Exactly. When people say, "Do we have the same ex?" Yeah, you do. Exactly. When people say that, it's because, yes, it's almost as if they all went to some sort of convention and learned exactly how to be the way they are because they're all the same. Like sometimes I wondered, like, did they all get together and did they like follow some sort of forum with like narc tips on how to be the better narcissist? I don't understand how they all know how to do this, but they're all the same. And so the good thing is, and this, yes, is very weird, but the good news for us is that we clocked it and we can actually see how they operate out there and how they form bonds with us, how they love bomb us, how they manipulate us, and how we get them, how they get us under their thumb. And how we do is a mind melt shit, exactly. But how do we get so brainwashed into this thinking of this, how this narcissistic behavior becomes so ingrained that we feel like it's almost feels normal to us because we are so familiar with it. And that's why we end up with another one and then another one and then another one. You know, I found 2. One that was maybe a third one that was more just emotionally immature. Um, but there's these types of personalities are everywhere. So you got to really be careful with what you're doing in new relationships. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate that, guys. When you are in these new relationships, I want you to just think about like, how do we get to this place where we can be discerning, where we can look at the red flags early on and start to move very slowly and start to just start to see like what your triggers are within you, like the ones that are screaming at you that this is familiar, this is fun. That's a red flag. If you start to feel chemistry with someone, that's a red flag. If you're in a relation, if you're starting to like go out there and date and you start to meet people and you're starting to feel these familiar butterflies in your stomach and you're starting to hear these familiar things that really got you excited in the past, like, "I've never met anyone like you. I feel like we have a strong connection. I think that there's like, you know, something really great here. I could see myself marrying you. I could see myself building a future with you. I've always wanted to have kids." Or if they just say they love everything about you, fucking run. Yeah. If they say they love everything about you, ask them what? What? Yes, go on. What do you love about me? What do you love? Married to an ultimate narcissist. There's so many red flags that I ignored. Now I'm in hell. Yeah, those red flags are the things that get you trapped in the end. I did that today. You did that today? Good. And that's what they say, right? Did they tell you that they love you because of all the things you do for them? Right? Did they tell you, I love you because you show up for me this way? Because you do this for me? Because you make me feel this way? You've done this for me. I love you because of how I feel. Okay, now stop and don't tell me anything about you. Tell me how much you love me, why you love me, and talk about me as if I don't even know you. What do you know about me? How do I show up for me and other people in my life? I loved everything from day one. When I met this woman, I told her I was going to marry her first date. Ugh. I don't know what your situation is. And I don't know you, and I don't know your name even because you have a different username. But this is the kind of stuff we tell people to run away from, is people who say they're going to love someone from day one and that they're going to marry them from day one. 5 years later, I hate it. Yeah. That's what he loves. Yeah, that's true, true, true. Clean, cook, pick up after him, wash his clothes. Yeah, he loves that, of course, because you just got a free help. Damn it, I'm going to have to pay consultation fees. You can mod for me. That'll be your fee. Yeah, you're a maid. Yeah, that's what happens. So this is what's going to happen. You're going to get into a relationship with somebody who love bombs you, who gets you hooked from the beginning, okay? And then you get hooked, and then you start to believe that you're an amazing person. And then we talked about the little switch up. And then you get this first confusing moment, this one confusing moment where you all of a sudden have no idea who this person is. They might just like all of a sudden say something really aggressive or have a meltdown or even just emotionally shut down, or they treat you as if you're not the greatest person that you were in the beginning. Right? You'll get this like confusing thing. We've all felt it. We've all had this sort of undervalued, underappreciated devaluation. That's it could be happening right now. And you start to question, like, what am I doing wrong? What did I do wrong? How did I mess this up? See how we internalize it and we believe that we are the problem? By the way, spoiler alert, we're not the problem. They could be avoidant. Doesn't matter. This is about abuse. This is about an abuse tactic that you maybe you bring up something really, really small. You say, hey, you hurt my feelings when you said this thing. And then they make that all about you. They start shifting it all to you. So you don't even discuss their behavior anymore. You're talking about you. You're like defending yourself for having an emotion. You start to feel like you're trying to please them. Yeah, exactly. You aren't the problem. It's just them making you feel guilty. Yes, exactly. And they'll say things like, oh, you're so sensitive. You're always starting drama. Why are you always bringing this stuff up? And it's like, you just brought it up the very first time, but they'll start to like talk in absolutes, like what you are doing is completely wrong and you've always been this way. You're so insecure. Oh my gosh, you're so jealous. Why would you bring that up? Give me a follow. Or I was just kidding. I didn't mean to say it like that. I was just joking. Like that was just a joke. And then you end up apologizing. Thank you so much. You apologize for something that you were looking for them to apologize for. See how it's a backwards thing? It goes into a spiral where it goes back on you. And all of a sudden you're apologizing for something you were looking for accountability for. You were asking them to be accountable for something they did. And all of a sudden you're not only defending yourself, but now you're apologizing for it. Okay, so this woman says she's never met any man, never talked to a man in 5 years. Okay. Well, that could be true. That could be true. He blamed me for everything that went wrong in his life. Yeah. Yeah, and this is where this starts to get really, really, really messed up because okay, and then you had a random number call her last night, and I went out of country, and yeah, he always calls you a bad wife and a mother. So I'll explain to you the cycle. The love bombing happens, then the first confusion happens, this emotional roller coaster starts to go on because when they do this, you're constantly looking for a reason why you made the change, like what you think it's your problem. You apologize for something you didn't do, remember? So you're sitting there trying to figure out. I actually started looking up books and trying to order books on Amazon on how to be a better wife, how to communicate with my husband better, how to solve problems, how to resolve problems in a marriage. Like I was looking for ways to resolve problems with a problem. The problem called me the problem, and I'm trying to resolve a problem with the problem. Figure that, right? This is what we do. Like if you look at my Google search back in 2020, 2019, when did we split up? 2019, we started getting like I started looking up like how do we solve a cheating husband? How do I deal with a addict? How do I fix a problem um with intimacy? How do I become more attractive to someone who yells and screams at me? Like these are the things I'm like googling. Okay? And while I'm doing all of this, while I'm trying to fix all this, out of nowhere, literally I didn't do anything, but it is so messed up because I believe that I did. He is nice to me again. Weird, right? All of a sudden, I get flowers. All of a sudden, hey, baby, can I take you out on a date? It's been really tough with us lately, and I think that we should go out and see a movie. Maybe we should go on a trip. You know, I've been really thinking about going to Jamaica. Should we get a couple tickets to go to Jamaica? Okay, the problem's fixed. I don't know what I did, but all of a sudden, everything is better. All of a sudden he's nice again. I love this. And then he turns into Jekyll once again. And I'm like, I'm in love with this man. He's so amazing. And I'm like, whatever I did, I fixed it. I fixed the problem. Maybe I prayed enough, or I just switched my energy, or maybe I was just like really just being a loving, caring, affectionate wife. And I'm just so good again. Okay, great. And everything is great again. And I'm so amazed by how lovely our relationship is, and it keeps going. Right when I was like, something's wrong here, boom, he's nice to me again. And then how long does that last? Because the intermittent reward is intermittent. Nah, it's about the energy. Yeah. It's intermittent. You don't always get rewarded. There's no consistency in these cycles. It just keeps going, and we just pray that things are not going to change and that they're always going to stay the same. And then all of a sudden, boom, you did it again. You messed up somehow. For me, I left the dustpan on the counter, which, by the way, we never cooked on this counter. It was the counter where I put my purse and my keys. In the kitchen on the way out to the garage, at the counter, I left the dustpan on there, and all of a sudden I come in and I'm a bad mom because there's a dustpan that's dirty and it's sitting on the counter where we eat food, which we never ate food there. It was just something he yelled at me about. And now we're fighting about this. And then what do we do in our brains? We start to go back to the good version of them because we know that's the one that makes our heart feel good. That's the one that actually feels good. The other one feels really bad and it hurts. The average is 7 times before you truly leave and you're done. Exactly. 7 times. So if you go back 14 times, you know, it's above average, but it is bringing the averages down. People go back a lot of times to these narcissistic people because of these cycles. So I told him I'm going to treat him the same way he treats me. Okay, how did that go for you? Mine refused to fight and he fought with me not wanting to fight. Mine is I refuse to fight and he fought with me for not wanting to fight. Yeah, they don't want that. They want you to start fighting. They want you. How do I detach from them emotionally? I work with people on helping the detachment. There's a couple exercises that I do to help you with your mental detachment and emotional detachment up here first. And then we can do exercises that actually label the issues that you have. Like you label the reason why you're bonded and attached to this person. Attachment is really just a place that we arrive to, that we stay at a few times, and then it becomes comfortable, and then we start living there, and we like set up a room in there, and we start to like unpack our laundry, and we start putting up our pictures, and we live there in that space of attachment. What I do is I help you detach by taking out some of the things that you've lived in and started placing up rent in this place. You start to remove yourself and start to put yourself out into life that's giving you more things, like giving you more fulfillment. Narcs are usually cheaters. Usually, yeah. Left him speechless, yeah. He was asking me what's wrong and I responded, I'm just treating and speaking to you the same way you do to me. Yeah. He was like, wow. They don't want to look at themselves and actually see who they really are. That's why they get mad at you. What does it mean when they left, when he said he feel uncertain in a long distance relationship? I don't know your situation. Probably because he can't see you and he doesn't know. I don't know if you're with someone who's narcissistic or what. But a lot of the times if someone doesn't feel secure in a long distance relationship, it's because they need more than being away. Like they need more physical time with you. Why does he keep telling me that that I'm trying to be his mother when I know his whereabouts? When you ask about his whereabouts? Well, because he's probably someone that isn't to be trusted. And so he's feeling attacked by you asking where he is. Like, I don't care where my husband is. If he's somewhere, I'm not asking where he is. I don't care about his whereabouts. I'm not trying to be his mother. Um, are you trying to be his mother? Why do you want to know where he is? Does he have a level of trust that he's broken? It is a red flag for sure. Has he broken your trust in the past? Because for me, I would not ask my husband where he is. I know he's going to freely tell me where he is, but I'm not curious. I just would like to know when he's coming home if I'm cooking dinner, but I don't actually not curious where he is because I trust him. But if he has broken his trust and you're asking his whereabouts because you want to build that trust again, and he is fighting against it and calling you a mom and saying you're being too mothering because you're trying to ask where my whereabouts is, he knows that he's not trustworthy. As a man, I'll show you my location anytime, anywhere. Of course you will. Yes, yeah. Because you're trustworthy. Like, I mean, I know my husband's password. He knows my password too. Like, we get into each other's phones all the time. But if we're not trusting each other and there's trust issues there, then we're going to feel attacked if this is your husband, right? Your husband or your boyfriend. This is someone you share a life with, you're in a relationship with. If he gets offended, it's because he is not trustworthy. Boyfriend. Okay, so if he gets offended, it's because he's not trustworthy. You're in a relationship with him. You are my boyfriend. I want to know where you are. If you can't tell me your location and you don't want to share that with me anytime, then go do whatever you want to do and don't worry about me. Don't worry about me. I'll go and be with somebody else who I can trust. I know it's not that easy to just break up with people. And if he rages on you, then, take the steps to walk. Well, you deserve more than a rageful person. You don't sound like a rageful person. I'm not saying a rageful person should be with another rageful person, but I'm saying that you don't deserve somebody who will rage on you for just being you. Time to go, girl. Thanks for being here, guys. I appreciate you. I've been on for an hour and 17 minutes. I was only going to go on for 1 hour. I'm going to keep it, I'm going to try to keep it a little shorter tonight because I wanted to go on just for an hour. But I'm going to stay on for 15 more minutes, and I'm going to stay on just for 90 total. But I will plan to come back tomorrow night. So how do we detach ourselves from a narcissist? I do have a step-by-step program that I do with clients one-on-one, but I also have a book that is on Amazon. It's called the Narc Free Journal, and it is on Amazon. Hold on, I just gotta pull it out. So I do have a Narc Free Journal that is on Amazon. It's also linked in my bio, and this actually starts with the very first step of leaving and going no contact is really just declaring it and putting your date, your freedom date, in this book. And then there's 30 steps in this book, and you journal out exactly everything I've done to get rid of the narcissist in my life. I have done, and I share my story with you. So let me just flip my camera real quick. So this is the book. It is on Amazon and it's linked in my bio. It's called the Narc Free Journal. It is 30 steps to your freedom, because you cannot love a toxic person and love yourself at the same time. So you always have to choose you. Choosing you means that you don't abandon yourself when a narcissist is raging out on you because you're asking where it is. Going to Amazon, getting the book, yes. I think I may know the author. You think you might know me. That's me. My moderator's being cute. I also do one-on-one coaching. So all of these steps are actually in a series on the top of my page as well. So you can get them in a video series. You can also get this physical book from Amazon, and you can book one-on-one coaching with me. I have a code right now for anybody who books one-on-one with me for a 60-minute session. The code is WELCOME15, WELCOME15. It gives you 15% off. Any ideas how to win court cases with a narc? I cannot give you legal advice. I cannot tell you that I will give you advice to help you win. But what I can do is I can help you cope when you have to go into a legal setting with a narcissistic person, because one of the things they will want to do is they will want to control you and try to get a reaction out of you by weaponizing the fact that they know so much about you and your emotional state. So they're going to give you this sort of, it's a coercive control, but it's also a manipulation tactic to get you to show your hand, so to speak. Am I glitching? Does the book help with avoidance as well? It helps with leaving narcissistic people. So if that comes with avoidance, then yeah, it can help, absolutely help with that. Been in and out of court with my ex-husband. He took the kids from me. So one of the things that they will do is giving you this, like, yes, stay calm, collected, giving you this space of like, if you have a wild story, well, I can't wait to hear it. If you do want to book a session with me, I do 30 minutes and I also do 60 minutes. I'd be happy to, if you want to work with me individually, I'd be happy to analyze your story for you and help. I know that the wildness that happens in court can sometimes be amplified by your reaction to their emotional manipulation. So they might bring something up that targets you emotionally. And then when we get out of the common collective vibe and we start to show our hand, right? We start to give them what they're looking for, which is a reaction. We might lose our cool in a way, and we're in a losing position. So my biggest advice to like stay grounded in these court cases or any sort of legal setting is to not only plan it out and talk and visualize it beforehand, but understand what they believe your Achilles heel is. So if they're going to go after something that is a weakness for you, that you're prepared to counteract it and be prepared to not let them affect you that way. Going to your bio, it's still a control tactic. Yeah, it will be a control tactic. And he will do this to discredit you. And if you show that you are someone to be discredited, and you show that you're either emotionally dysfunctional or whatever it is, that whatever he thinks he has on you, you got to clock that. You got to be able to know what he thinks he has on you so that you can prove that he doesn't actually have that on you. Show them how strong you actually are. Here's the thing with a narcissist. They don't actually believe that you're as strong as you are, because they would love to believe in their puny little head that you're not that strong, because that means that they would win. That means that they get whatever they want if they think that they have a power over you. But you left, right? If you left, then you've empowered yourself. Just sent you a DM. I will absolutely message you back. My DMs are open. They're just a little bit slow. If you actually believe that the narcissist has power over you, I can help you unravel that belief. Because guaranteed they need you more than you need them. Guaranteed, if it weren't for you, they would be in the deep, dark, empty place, because a lot of these narcissistic people that I help women, men leave, I help people leave them when they realize that they don't have that person in their life anymore. When I've helped them out of this situation where they just don't want to look back, you know what happens to that narcissist? They go into a deep, deep narcissistic injury, and they have this spiral where they collapse. And a lot of the times these narcissists are left in their basement suite eating, Cheetos with little orange dust over their fingers, and like a bed on the floor, and just sitting at home, like with the people in the upstairs suite cooking Indian food, and it's seeping into their vents, and they're crying about their life, watching sad stories on TikTok, single and alone and hating their life because they went into a spiral and they collapsed and nothing goes good in their life. Like, honestly, it's like this bad energy, this cloud comes upon them because they have no more control over other people. So life starts to catch up to them. You'll see these narcissists losing their jobs, losing their friends, losing their opportunities, not winning at all. And they get the karma. They already have their bad karma, which is that they have to be a narcissist for the rest of their life. And they have to walk around being them with no connections, no real chance at love, because they'll never be able to fully connect to somebody when they can't have empathy for themselves, or have no, they don't have a sense of self. So they can never really fully connect when they're completely disconnected from self. So when I mean a collapse is they just, without you, they're nothing. Okay, when you get this, when it clicks for you that you have so much power here, and that you don't actually have, they don't actually have this stronghold over you that you think, they won't get it. But when you get it, you can hold it over on them. They are a miserable person. That's his karma, and he'll never be happy. And that's something that, I already feel bad for them, for this fate that they've slipped into. But it's not our problem. It's not ours to carry. Do they always come back even when discarded? You, in the most awful way, and involve fam? Yep. In a way, they will find their way back. Whether it's to abuse you again, whether it's to have another relationship with you, whether it's to make you jealous by parading another supply in front of you with a new baby and a new life or whatever. Maybe they'll send you a bunch of emails. Maybe they'll write you a letter. They'll find their way back. They will always find a way to hoover you back and suck you back into the cycle of abuse. Always. I realized the power I have when he told me, I bet you won't be able to buy a home, and I proved I could. I love this. Good for you, girl. I feel bad for him. I'm an empathetic person. Yes, they love empaths. And it's okay to feel bad for them, guys. It's okay to have compassion for somebody, because nobody gets to change that part of you that cares and loves another person. Nobody gets to change that part of you. Money is the root of all evil. I don't believe that. Evil is the root of all evil. Money is a tool God gave us. If we can steward it well, it can work well in our favor. We can use it to prosper. But is it the root of all evil? No, I don't believe that. My husband, in addition to cameras in my emails, draws, purse, Google Maps, history, phone, etc. Is this still your husband that's putting cameras in the change room? Now I feel bad because I'm thinking he will have more kids and my kiddo will have to see that. Maybe. Yeah, unfortunately. But this is what we do though when we grow our resilient kids and we train them. We train them the way they go and they'll never depart from them. We train them to have resilience. We train them to understand their own boundaries, to be firm with their convictions, to know what they want. And if they see other siblings or they see a parent of theirs that's neglecting them, they get old enough, they'll understand it and they'll start to they'll see it. They'll see it. And you know, if he has more kids, he's going to he's going to treat them the same. And maybe they'll have a bond one day when they get older. My mother-in-law told me I couldn't do it without him. Look at me now, leaving, best decision ever. I love this. Ronnie, how's it going, my friend? Can't understand how they could be so evil while playing the victim. Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? When I was younger, I thought to myself, how, like, because I lied when I was in, like, I don't know, elementary. I think I was like grade 3 or grade 4. I was like my daughter's age now, 7 or 8. And I did this thing where I was trying to get attention and I pulled this prank at school and I lied about it and I got caught. And I had to sit after school in the halls and cut in milk cartons, cut all of the little UPC symbols or whatever, those scan things, cut them off of all these milk cartons to save them up so that the school could use it for money, right? Like those little, when you deposit bottles or whatever, before I used to just cut the thing off milk cartons. That was my punishment. I had to do that. And I always got in trouble for lying. So I never lied. My parents never really lied. And when I say never really lied, I mean, I'm pretty sure if they were like, no, the park is closed, that's a lie. But for the most part, when I grew up, in my childhood, I didn't experience a lot of lying. I always was taught that if I told a lie, I would be accountable, I would be caught, and I'd have to tell the truth. So it was practiced a lot of honesty in my upbringing. So when I got older, I could suss out a liar. I'd be like, oh, this person's lying. I had never even thought that it was possible for someone that I'm in love with and married to be able to stone face lie to me right in my face, and it would look so real that the person, like, I wouldn't even think that this person that I'm in love with could be that deceptive in such a real way. Sorry to interrupt. Do you mind you share your eyelash style or numbers? I don't know it. I just know the girl does a very good job at them. So I'm not sure how long they are or what the style is. I know it's the curliest one. But that's okay. Thank you so much for you didn't interrupt me at all. It's okay to ask anything you want. So when I discovered that he could lie to me and tell me straight to my face something so dumb, like one time he told me that he saved a person's life downtown because there was throw up all over him. And I was like, why did you vomit on yourself? And he was like, no, this crazy thing happened where this homeless man downtown was like ODing and I did CPR and he threw up on me and he almost died and I saved his life. And I was like, that's incredible. Like, he's like, yeah, the paramedics came and everybody was there, the police, like it was just so crazy. It was so crazy. And I'm like, wow, like I really thought that that was a real thing. Hero complex, yeah, number 1, Good Samaritan. But then the next day I looked outside and outside of the garage was the rest of that throw up. And I didn't think anything of it. And then a week later I asked, so was this story on the news or something? Or did we find out what happened to that man? And he was like, what man? The man you saved. Oh yeah, Yeah, I don't know. And he looked as if he didn't know what I was talking about. Like, it was a bull-faced lie. It was so weird to me that somebody could do that to me because I grew up thinking that nobody could really lie to me, and he actually is so good at it. They totally forget the lies. It's crazy. It's super crazy. How do I get over the knot in my stomach that the person I loved will have more kids maybe? Okay, girl. Um, Vanny? Sorry, I don't know what your gender is, and that's okay. The person that you loved may have more kids. Yes, okay. You got to ask yourself, where is this not coming from? What would be the worst thing that could happen if they had more kids? And what is it about you that's being activated when you think about that and go into your imagination about them having more kids? What would that mean for you? What's the story you're telling yourself about that? You know, why does it make a knot in your stomach? What would be the thing that would unravel the knot? Is it really them never having kids again? Because that can't be it. It's got to be something else. What would unravel the knot? That's the question you have to ask yourself. Because once we can figure out how to unravel that knot, we don't care if they have kids or not. They could have a million kids and be on that show 17, whatever. Whatever it is, that if they manipulate the kids, if they do, whatever their life looks like, when you can just be unbothered and set it aside and have zero care in the world about what they're doing, then you've realized how to unravel that knot. And you wanted to have a family with them. Yes, 15 years together. I get it. Now, think about this though. Is that family that you wanted, was that ever going to be a reality, knowing how he is and how he's treated you and who he shows up in life as himself? Yeah, manipulation of the kiddos is the worst part. When we live in when we live in the story that we tell ourselves because of these bad situations, that's where we get trapped. That's where we get in trouble because we start thinking about what could have been, what was, and this is why it hurts us, is because we're looking at a situation that had so much potential when we first met them because of that love bombing stage. We're looking at situations that had so much potential because they future faked and pretended that they were going to give that to us, that they never did. They just want to make you think things that you need to block them. And I know it's hard. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for the advice, guys. How do we navigate the manipulation of kids? Only thing you can do for your kids is teach them. You got to teach them resilience. You got to teach them boundaries. You got to tell them what are adult topics and what are not. If they start manipulating and getting to their head, you got to train them and you got to say, listen, when somebody talks to you about something that is not your, like, you know, what are some of your big problems at school? Whether Jimmy wants to be your friend on Facebook Messenger? Your kid is 5. How do you do that? Well, 5-year-old, okay? So age appropriate stuff. What is the biggest problem in your life as a 5-year-old? What is the biggest thing you struggle with? Who to play with in the park? Okay, so if something doesn't sound like who to play with in the park, like how many times you get a bath in a week, or the fact that mommy spends however much on her eyelashes, what's in mommy's bank account, and how many times you have a bath in a week, and how many times you have spaghetti for dinner, these are not problems that you have to deal with, sweetheart. Okay? As a 5-year-old, I want you to have problems in your 5-year-old life, like playing with Jimmy in the park. Or if you're going to have the right amount of crayons for this coloring thing that you want to do. These are the things that you want to focus on. So if somebody comes to you with things that don't sound like you want to work those out with what's going on in your life, just be like, you know what? Whoever's talking to, let's say it's your dad. Just be like, Dad, that sounds like an adult problem. I want to talk about my kid problems. And I know it's confusing, right? So if it's confusing, just say, you know what, I want to focus on my kid problems. And you just set that boundary, sweetheart. You can do that. You don't have to talk about anything that doesn't make you feel weird. If it makes you feel weird, you don't have to talk about it. He will manipulate him. So how do I protect that? You cannot. So we have to actually pick our battles on kids will get manipulated. You cannot prevent manipulation. Hello, Al. How's it going? I felt it when I moved out and I promise. Sorry. No, no, no. Don't be sorry. Don't be sorry. It sucks. It really sucks. But we actually have to learn how to create and train resilient kids to have discernment and to have boundaries and to teach them that they're allowed to speak what they want, feel what they feel. I found out that my son had a TikTok account. I told my ex-husband on Talking Parents. I'm a bad person now. Oh. And how old is your son? I think I have a rule with my kids. I don't want them to have any social media at all. 14. Okay. I don't know the age yet. So I haven't decided. My oldest is 11 and my youngest are 7. So I say 7 and 7 because my daughter's 7 and my husband's son is 7. So my stepson is 7 and my daughter's 7, and then I have a 9-year-old and an 11-year-old. So I don't know the age yet because they have phones and iPads and they have games they play on, Geometry Dash and some other games. They talk on Facebook Messenger. They play games on Facebook Messenger. They play games on Minecraft and stuff like that, but they don't have social media because I want to protect them from that for as long as possible, but I don't know the age. So thank you for sharing that. 14 is, I don't know if it's 16. I don't know if it's 14. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I'm not quite sure yet. But I don't want them to suffer bullying, and I know they're going to get bullied, but I don't want them to fall into this trap of dopamine and putting their stuff online and then coming up against people like, the people. You know what I mean? Hi from Canada. I'm from Canada as well. Did I escape a narcissistic relationship? I did. I absolutely did. So I gotta go, guys. You're awesome. Thank you. I do want to share with you, though, my narc-free journal. If you are in a relationship with somebody and you want to get out, if you are in a place where you feel like you can't get out and you want to book a session with me, number one, I do have my coaching right now on a discount. So it is 15% off for the 60-minute session. So if you are, this is weird being on the mirrored right here. If you do want to book a session with me, go to the link in my bio, book a session. The code is welcome15, welcome15, and that's going to get you 15% off my 60-minute session. I can help you get divorced. I can help you deal with toxic families. I can help you thrive after. If you are already out, this is a step-by-step guide to your freedom. This is the 30 steps that I took to get out of my bad relationship and out of my marriage and thrive after. So this is a journal, a self-guided journal that I wrote that's going to help you thrive after an abusive relationship. And because I do one-on-one coaching, I also do texting as well. So sometimes people who are in the middle of coaching sessions with me, they just feel like they need me afterwards or they need me during. And I do everything on WhatsApp. So with texting packages, you can actually text me and have a live coach 24/7. So just think of me like your best friend in your pocket. If you want to do texting with me, you can go to the link in my bio and you can find the text packages. But texting is basically just always somebody. It's like ChatGPT, except I'm a person. I'm not a computer. I have a heart and I have a mind and I have a brain and I have my voice, and I share with you my experience is very different than therapy, because therapy with a therapist, and I love my therapist, but my psychologist or counselor is going to share or have me dig into my own experiences, and that's it. It stops there with my own experiences. With coaching, I actually share my experiences with you. So we're mutually sharing our experiences so that you do not feel alone. And so if you do get into text coaching with me, this is what we do. I give you daily exercises. We talk a little bit about what you're going through, what you're struggling with. Is it ever possible to separate from a narc without court custody? Yeah, it is. I mean, custody technically is the legal document of the parental parameters of your children. It's basically a legal, it's like getting divorced because divorced is legal. It's like getting married, married is legal. So if you have 50 custody, or if you have 45 custody, or if you have shared parenting, if it's a custody order, it's a legal document. That's the only thing that custody means. Now, if you do it outside of custody or outside of court, then you're talking about a handshake deal. You're talking about just verbal agreements. But if you want something in agreement, like, I mean, I can say I'm married to my husband, but until we go to the courthouse or we go to a registry and we get a license and then we sit in front of our pastor and actually get married and have a covenant in a church and we sign the document and I change my name and all that, I'm not really married, right? So you don't really have custody unless you have a court document and it's legal. That's the only thing that makes something custody. Otherwise, you're just having a parenting agreement that's just handshake deal. So again, I offer coaching. Have a look at my bio if you want to book something with me. The code is 15, welcome 15, welcome 15 to get 15% off of my 60-minute coaching. If you want to book any other sessions on the packages, just let me know. If you want to send me an email or send me a DM, my DMs are open on Instagram. You can give me a follow there. I will be going live again next week, or hopefully on Sunday, I think, is the next day I will go live. So check me out on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. I love you guys all. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the amazing chats and the conversations. If there's anything you need from me, please reach out to me, book a session, or just simply send me a message. And I just want you to remember, every single day on the day of freedom is so much better than any day you've ever had with a narcissist, even your best day with a narcissist. Okay? Your best day with a narcissist is not going to be better than the worst day that you'll have on the side of freedom. So don't forget that. Okay? Narc free, get away from them, go no contact, block them, do all that. Your life will be dramatically better. I guarantee it. Love you all. Thanks for being here. Have a good night, guys.